Welcome everyone, and welcome to yet another technologycatalog.com webinar. I'm happy to be joined today by Robert and Nick from the LOBO team. Guys, I will let you introduce yourself in a minute when I hand over to you. My name is Vincent van Beusekom. I'm co-founder of technologycatalog.com. Before I hand over to the team in the UK, let me just quickly share my screen and give you a very short introduction to those people that are less familiar with our platform technologycatalog.com. So we help our users in the energy sector to efficiently identify solutions for today's challenges. And actually, the topic is, of course, scaffolding and reducing scaffolding cost and time in the energy industry, whether it's onshore or offshore, remains actually a challenge for many operators. So it's also a very nice example that I would like to use, also how you can use our platform to very quickly find what solutions are out there on the market today, and who of your peers or competitors may actually already be using those solutions. We can do that quickly by diving into the platform and quickly searching for scaffolding solutions, which I'm typing here in the search bar, and you'll see I immediately get 25 solutions. One of them here at the top, actually, coincidentally, is the solution we will be discussing today. It's the LOBO Advanced Work Platform. And let me also use that to show you how all technologies on the platform are actually being presented. This holds for scaffolding solutions, which are typically, of course, having a hardware component to it, but the same holds for all the digital solutions that you can find on the platform. So you see here a page which summarizes all the information which is being provided by Robert, who will take over in a minute. If you have any questions about these solution, you can also directly ask your questions to Robert via the platform. In addition to all the information about the system that they provide, you will also be able to see deployment references from other companies in the energy sector, but actually also outside the energy sector, that are using this particular scaffolding solution. And you can read reviews from experts in the industry or from clients on the page. And good to note, these reviews are actually being controlled by our team, and in that way, we also make sure that we have reliable and credible reviews on the platform. In addition to being able to search directly for solutions like this, we actually provide also a whole range of data-driven tooling to our users. And if you're interested in that, best to contact me after the webinar, and we'll be happy to give your team a dedicated demo. Without further ado, I actually would like to hand over to Rob and Nick. So let me stop sharing my screen and hand over to you guys, and you can start with your introduction.
Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Rob. I'm the CEO of LOBO Systems.
Yeah, hey there, guys. Great to meet everyone. So I'm Nick. I work in our global sales and partnership team.
So we always start off the relationship with companies that don't know the product by giving them a safety and overview demonstration. So we're going to go right ahead into our studio, which you can see in one of the cameras, and we're going to rejoin you in there with a live demonstration. Thank you very much. So we always start off with LOBO, just to explain that it is a game changer. We're up to 10 times faster to assemble than any other product, as referenced by Shell. But what we do is we make accessing those awkward areas straightforward and simple. And because we can do that, we can save you a lot of money without using the cost of contractors. Now, as you can see, we've got these 3 LOBO tower store units here. small, medium, and large. And we always start the demonstration off with the tower store, because when our system is not being used, it can be secured. You can see how the product flat packs inside, and those feet on the bottom are for transportation. Now these tower store units are steel, and they are substantial, and they can be aligned vertically as you see now, or you can flip them horizontally on their backs, in which case you can also add a wheel kit. Okay, so Nick's got a couple of legs out of the pack, and we're going to start by declaring that LOBO is in fact a steel system and incredibly strong. And it builds by sliding the tube into the clamp, which you then tighten with your fingers. So yes, LOBO does not require any tools to build it. Now, that length of tube there is the first one of a standard set of tubes that we automatically provide. However, we can custom cut. The important thing to understand at this point is that leg can be positioned anywhere on the tube so that the width of our system is totally adjustable. As we tighten the second L bolt, the system self-aligns. And to build the system, we just take some more tube out of the pack, which we then pass into the available clamps. I'm going to pause there, just explain our compliancy. We are compliant to all European and North American regulations regarding the product. OSHA, we are tested 4-to-1 on rated load. We're approved by many, many global companies across the planet. And so we have an impeccable regulation compliancy. So as you can see, Nick has now tightened those clamps, and we're going to start by building a small system. Now, we're only going to build this small system. The more components you have, the bigger it gets. But today, with this being a demonstration, we're going to focus on this system here, because we want to get across 3 really important points. Number 1, the really great safety points the system has. Number 2, its versatility. And 3, we're going to demonstrate how fast it can be assembled. This distance here is known as the length or span, and that's adjustable from 0.6 meters up to 3.6 single span. So this is the span that will get across your pipework, your machines, your vessels, your vehicles, your aircraft, depending on what you're maintaining using this. This is a low board. It's non-slip on this side, aluminium framed on the back. It's also available 300 millimeters. The standard is 600 millimeters, and they start at 600 millimeters and go all the way up to 3.6 meters single span. Now this one is the 1.2 meter, which is low within our range. However, it is quite popular, but the most popular one is the 6-foot 1.8 meter. And that's all you need to do to adjust the length of the system. But with LOBO, you can do more. You can take another low board from over there, and you can add it on. So with more length, low boards and tubing, you can increase the length infinitely, and you can increase the width infinitely by adding more low boards, legs, and tubing. Now we want to introduce a really important part of our system. It's called the low band coupler. Okay, this is a steel coupler, and what it does, it couples square to round tubing anywhere on the system, literally in seconds. No tools are required. Also, it will couple round tubing to round tubing anywhere you like. Now, this little coupler, called a low band, has 2 major functions. It makes the system rock solid. So when your engineers and technicians are working on LOBO, it won't move. The other thing it will do, it makes the system safer. And here's an example of this. The low board will not lift up, and it cannot slide on the tube. It is held in place. So you can position a guardrail anywhere you like, for example, using that coupler. So talking of guardrails, this is how quick they go on. Once the guardrail is on, it can be repositioned to suit the safety environment or suit the environment that you're working in. But when you have it in the right spot, you simply tighten up that L bolt, and they can be tightened up very quickly. And once they're tight, that guardrail cannot move. So this little low band can connect tube anywhere on the square or round. Now, since LOBO can be made into a very large system, we need to use these. These are called sway braces, and this is the smallest one we have. And we have two larger sizes, but they all go on in exactly the same way. In fact, this one is so small, it cannot reach. So we've made it telescopically adjustable so that they can reach. And when you have it in the right spot, you simply connect. And when you have it connected, that's the low band there, connecting it, which is the same as that one. So we're using the low band over and over again. And it's that diagonal that you put all the way up to give it that rock solid fall that everybody loves. Okay, to go higher, we need to use this. This is an extension, and at the bottom, it's adjustable. So to fit this, we invoke a process that we're fully trained on when we come to train you, and it's known as the advanced guardrail process. So there's the advanced guardrail going in the top. What it really means is we give you a very, very safe way to build the system by always having a guardrail in advance of you. So therefore, you should never be exposed to the risk of a fall. And in certain cases, your safety department should be able to risk assess out the requirement for lanyards. So we're going to go now and do a test on this, a rattle test, a visual test as well. And then we're going to tighten that thumb screw. And now the system, that system there is completely rattle free. And we're going to put that in the top of the leg. Now we're going to demonstrate the 300 millimeters of additional adjustments. So every time you put one of these pieces on, extension pieces, you get that additional 300 millimeters. And you'll see that Nick has set that to be 2 holes showing. And that's the same as my side. And that's because we're on level ground. But if we were on a step, a slope, different levels within the facility, maybe an escalator staircase, or even a tiered seating arrangement, you can set one side of the system different to the other to achieve a level working platform. Alternatively, we do different leg styles, the 1, the 2, and the 3. Now, since all our legs are interchangeable, you can mix and match to get the best possible combination. Now, as a responsible manufacturer of the LOBO system, we've developed this product. We offer an on-site training package, which is fully compliant to HSC, OSHA, and all the regulations globally to meet the standard. And what it means is when we come to your site, we will train up to 6 people. Once they've been to the course, passed the test, they are then deemed certified to be able to build a system like this. You need to inspect it. Yes, we give you the inspection sheet. And lastly, they need to sign it off as being safe with a date and time. And then, of course, anyone can use the product. Now, we're going to put some more tube in. So this tube here is exactly the same as this tube here. There's no difference other than by its length. And to get to the next level, we're going to use an aluminium ladder. Now, the ladder can be attached anywhere because we're going to use LOBO ladder clamps. Okay, you can see the tube going back in the clamps. And once those clamps have been tightened, that ladder cannot come off the system, but it can be readjusted to suit the environment that you're in. And when you have it in exactly the right spot, you simply tighten up the ladder clamps and then you're good to go. Now, LOBO is typically a freestanding product, which means you do not tie off to it, but it does mean that you can invoke the 3-to-1 height to base ratio limit. And this means this base dimension here that you see in front of you determines the foot height you can go to, and it's 3-to-1. Now, this width here is 0.8 meters. So 0.8 times 3 is 2.4 meters. So 2.4 meters is the maximum height at this system width, which is about up there. Now, obviously, LOBO goes much, much higher than 2.4 meters. And there are two ways that we can go higher. The first one is we can take this tube out and we can put a longer one in. This now means you can have a wider base. The wider base means 3-to-1, up you go. If you cannot do that, you need to use this. It is a LOBO outrigger. It has a 20-second fit time. It's a steel component, and we've got them on this leg as well. So you put these on every available leg. And this has the function of making the system wider. As you can see, it is 20 seconds. Then you deploy the rubber foot, and that added 0.9 meters to the base, just like that. So now we have 0.9, we have 0.8, and 0.9. When you add those three dimensions up, the new base of the system is 2.6 meters. And then you times it by 3, because that's the safety factor, and that means you can stand all the way up there at 7.8 meters. We also have a lifting slider beam attachment which fits inside the system. So this is a lifting beam. Now this is 1.2 meters, but this is the 1.8 version. So we do 5 different lengths of these lifting beams because there are 5 different lengths of low board, and they're a matching pair. So now we've put this inside the system. We've locked it down with a low band. You can see from this label, it has a 500 kilogram maximum lifting capacity, and it slides. So the objective of this attachment, and they are hugely popular, is if you've got motors, pumps, rollers, tools, or tooling that you want to get up the system, you can now do all this without having to carry the units yourself up or down the ladder under one arm. Now this tube here, horizontal tube, and this one here means we can build a cantilever on our LOBO system. And we love the cantilever because it means you can stand here outside of the main footprint of the system. And we're going to build it because it literally takes 2 minutes, but at the same time demonstrate our aluminium topped low board. Aluminium underneath, and this one's got a hatchway. So all our low boards have the aluminium option, and you'll be able to fit this straight onto those horizontal tubes. Now, this fits perfectly, as you see on the system, because we are a premium system, and all we have to do now is make this horizontal tube load bearing with a sway brace and 2 low bands. Okay, and again, it's very easy. We take the sway brace that Nick's got in his hand, we can position it up like that, or from the underneath. And we're going to put it underneath because that's our preferred way. And I hope you notice that this sway brace is exactly the same as this one here. So you'll remember that it is telescopic, which means Nick can draw it back to the main leg wherever he chooses and simply connect. And once we've done that, we tighten up the low band and we're good to go. So from a safety point of view, the low board cannot lift up and it cannot be pulled out of this unit because it is secured with this arrangement here, which of course you do at both ends. And finally, on this build, we're going to show you our toe boards. All our toe boards fit around the perimeter of all our low boards. And as you can see, they literally fit in minutes around the perimeter of each low board. There's a little hinge and a pin at the top. When we pull out that pin, we can remove, replace, or repair that toe board without any tools whatsoever. And finally, we're going to put on a toe board clip. So put a few of these on to lock that toe board down whenever you want, wherever you want. Now, this tube here that Nick's now pointing at, and the one above, are your guardrail system for when you're working in the cantilever area. This is what it needs to look like. So once you've been trained, you're able to build something like this. Notice the top guardrail, intermediate guardrail, toe board with clip, low board, and we've actually put a wheel kit on this system. There's the brake going on, and there's the brake going off. So the wheel kit comprises of the 4 wheels, the 4 casters with brakes, and of course the cross braces you see at the bottom. And finally, we have a base plate. So this base plate is 150mm square with the 4 holes, and this is totally interchangeable with the T-shaped leg. The 4 holes have 2 functions. Number 1 is for putting a wheel kit on. And number 2 is this. Since LOBO can be upgraded to be a permanent solution, you can use those 4 holes to lock it into the floor in conjunction with our wall mount, which means you can lock the system to the wall of a building. And finally, we're going to show you our hop-up. So this is a single-person podium by design. It is height adjustable on 4 casters with brakes. So we insert the brakes. There is a rear safety gate on this unit, which drops behind the works, top guardrail, intermediate guardrail, and a little toe board at the front. So thank you very much. We will now go back to the boardroom and take any.
So the first question that I got, in no particular order, it says we often use scaffolding on our rig, which requires competent and certified personnel, but it increases the personnel on board. It takes up bed space, and as such, are you suggesting that with the demo that the core maintenance crew could actually be trained and certified to construct and destruct the LOBO and doesn't need dedicated staff?
Exactly, that's what the LOBO system is all about. It's not going to replace scaffolding across the whole industry, but in certain areas, especially internal, LOBO can outperform any other scaffolding product.
Yeah, and the beauty of it is that anyone that purchases a LOBO system comes with our training. It is in-house members of staff that will be trained up to build this on a regular basis, put it up, depending on the size of the system, could be 20 minutes, do the task at hand, take it down 20 minutes, flat pack away, etc. And you don't need specialized people on a rig or wherever you are to be able to do it, because it's the maintenance people that are trained up to do it, because there's no tools, there's no specialism, etc. It's all part of our training model.
Well, that answers your question.
Yeah, so hopefully that answered the question. Actually, this triggered a question from myself also after seeing your system. In relation to this, is your business model that you actually sell the equipment, or is it on a rental basis?
Yeah, it's available 24/7 and can be brought out on a night shift or a weekend when maybe the scaffolding contractor isn't available.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Going OpEx cost, it's an investment up front, and then ultimately you get a positive ROI probably from month 13 onwards. Realistically, is what we see with most of our clients.
Great. I think that should answer it. The next question is, the person says, I understand that Technique FMC uses LOBO on their vessels. However, has the LOBO system also been used on offshore installations, whether it's oil and gas or offshore wind?
Yes, it's been used in the maintenance with and it's also being used on some of the rigs previously by Shell.
And I think probably, yeah, that's the same person then has a second related question. If there's any additional certification or risk assessment required when you want to use the system offshore?
Yeah. Of course, you need to complete the usual RAMs and risk assessments and method statements, as you would with any other piece of machinery or system.
All right, those were the questions that have come in so far. If you have any more questions for Robert or Nick, please type them in the chat. Rob, was there also anything you wanted to add in addition to the demo?
Well, we do have. If we've got time, I'd just like to run through the presentation. So I'm sharing my screen now.
Yes, it's loading. Yes, I see it now. So maybe good as a wrap up in addition to the demo, if you can just take us through that, and then if there are any other questions, I will monitor it, and we can always pick them up at the end. So over to you.
The 5 systems. It's 1.2 at the top, 1.8 down the side. Now, this would take 2 people once they've been trained, no more than 30 minutes to assemble. Now, we've demonstrated the product to you, and looking at this, you might say it's very, very similar to an aluminium tower. But I hope that we've shown today with the demonstration, it's a lot more than that. Also, to show you, you could take this system apart and using exactly the same components, rebuild it as this, or this, all from the same LOBO starter kit. Now, these two L shapes. Now, LOBO prides itself on being able to build custom solutions from standard, in-stock, off-the-shelf LOBO components. So these two L shapes can be, after use, can be packed away or rebuilt in any of these configurations. This is a bridge. This could bridge a vessel. It could be a vehicle, anything large like an aircraft, perhaps. Again, you could take this system down and rebuild it in any one of these systems from exactly the same components. This is the base plate that we showed you out there. The base plate is great for going on staircases, as you can see there. Obviously, you can take this apart and build it on flat ground. Now, if we were on your site, you'd take us to some of your solution problem areas where we would draw these solutions for you. You might take us to 4 or 5 different locations. We would then draw a solution for each and every one of those problem areas. And once you'd approved the drawings, and this is a typical drawing, once you'd approved them, we'd convert them into a pool of kit, or should I say a consolidated list, which means you can build any one of these systems at any one time. Once we know that, we can right size one of our tower stores to fit the system in so that you can secure it away after use. Now, this is a 3 steps document. I'm happy to email to anybody that wants. All we need to know from you to get the ball rolling is what height your feet are going to be at. That's number 1. And the 2 dimensions at the bottom are the width. Is that 1 board wide, 2 boards wide, 2.5 boards wide, or the length, is it 0.6, 1.2, 1.8, 2.4, 3 or 3.6 meters. And when we've done that, we can then come up with some solution drawings for you to approve. Also, we have a dedicated WhatsApp line, so you can send us your pictures and dimensions, and we will get some designs out to you. So thank you very much. We can now stop sharing our system.
Thanks, Robert, for that summary. That was very clear, and I trust that everybody now has all the information that they need to further discuss, and they know how to contact you if they want to learn more about the system. Okay. I see that actually no more questions have come in from the attendees. in the last minute. So I guess that means we have no further questions. So suggest we leave it here for today. We wrap it up. Thanks a lot for that very live demo. I think there are few technology providers that are able to demonstrate the true technology in such a way. So thanks a lot for that. And for the other folks, we hope to welcome you again in a few weeks' time. February 4th is our next webinar, and the registration will be open on the site within the next few days. Thanks, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.